Released in 2016 by Red Hook Studios, Darkest Dungeon is a roguelike dungeon crawler indie game that is set in a dark fantasy world and tells the story of heroes exploring dungeons to gather treasures, but with a specific focus on difficulty and stress mechanics. The game has been applauded both for its incredible visual style that just pours of gothic horror juiciness, and its amazing soundtrack that instantly plunges you in a tale of darkness. In Darkest Dungeon, you hire and manage a team of heroes that, for all their bravery and skills, are also deeply flawed. In particular, these heroes will be subject to meltdowns and can have various quirks that are either positive or negative, but that usually prevent them from continuing exploring dungeons and dark forests. Of course, the more caves and monsters your heroes encounter, the better they'll become. But if a courageous team of adventurers faces too many dangers and horrors too many times, it will start to lose it and dive into paranoia, fear, masochism, or irrationality. This means that apart from handling positioning and level ups to get the best out of your heroes during fights, you also need to have a bird's eye view on their current state of mind, and properly assess whether it's too dangerous for this adventurer to do another round. That's why Darkest Dungeon is an amazing learning tool for risk assessment and risk management. Life is obviously full of hard choices, be it because they pose a moral dilemma, because they face you with an actual physical danger, or because they simply weigh one attractive possibility against another. Plenty of daily life decisions are tinted with risk. Okay, so there is this saying that victory without risk brings triumph without glory. Well, if you wish to follow this mantra, this naturally implies that you should have a way of dealing with risk, and at the very least, apprehend how high it is. Risk assessment is twofold. On the one hand, risk has an objective external component to it. Given the current situation, your experience with this sort of events, and your ability to respond to them, a specific setting can be considered more or less risky. On the other hand, everyone's different in terms of how they deal with risk, and depending on the person, there can be attractiveness or aversion towards danger. This is a more subjective internal component of risk, and it's also an essential characteristic in lots of psychological studies that can be measured using the B.A.R.T test. This well-known and scientifically valid psychological test is very easy to do. You simply take a balloon, either a real one or a virtual one, and you inflate it as much as you can before it pops. You can stop at any time to gather points, but if the balloon pops, you lose everything. And of course, the bigger the balloon, the more points you get. To get a really accurate result, we usually repeat the experiment 20 to 30 times and take the average amount of points that the person got. In this experiment, a higher average score means that the person is pretty attracted to risk, whereas a lower average score shows an aversion to risk. And in a way, Darkest Dungeon is kind of a long-run B.A.R.T test. Some players prefer to live on the edge and always send the same handful of brave teams on missions, therefore running a pretty high risk of having them break down, like the balloon that pops, while other players would rather play it safe and instead regularly change their adventurers, like stopping before the balloon explodes. It takes longer to level up, but it reduces the chance that the heroes could crack under pressure, especially because it leaves them some time to benefit from the various stress-relieving facilities in your town, like the chapel or the tavern. Managing risk almost always requires you to do some trade-off. You need to let go of something to a certain degree to gain a bit more safety in return. However, not everything is worth giving up, and risk should not be considered the number one enemy every time. Rather, learning to understand and react to it in a consequence-free environment like a video game allows you to better accept and deal with it in real life. So what if Darkest Dungeon, in all its gothicky madness, was actually a great way to work on risk assessment and risk management? And please, tell me in the comments. Is it just me that keeps on killing all my crusaders? Or are you two always forgetting that they need some rest as well, even though they clearly have the best fighting skills? In the meantime, if you have other ideas of games that tell us something without us noticing, go ahead and share it in the comments. As always, thanks for watching, and take care.